The story of the Philippines begins not with the rise of kings or the clash of conquerors, but with the quiet imprint of ancient footprints pressed into the earth. These footprints, left behind by the earliest inhabitants, are silent echoes of lives lived long before history was written, before legends were told. Long before the world drew maps or raised flags, people thrived on these islands. They moved through dense forests and along winding rivers, foraging for wild fruits, roots and shellfish, learning to read the land and the seasons. Archaeologists have uncovered bones and tools, stone blades, shell ornaments, and fragments of pottery, silent witnesses to the ingenuity and adaptability of early humans. Each artifact tells a story of survival, of families who learned to make fire, shape tools, and build shelter from the world around them. Among these early people was the Calao man, a hunter-gatherer who roamed the lush forests of Luzon over 67,000 years ago. He followed the rhythms of nature, tracking animals through the undergrowth, gathering what the land provided, and adapting to the ever-changing environment. Over countless generations, new groups arrived, their journeys guided by the stars and the winds. They crossed vast seas in sturdy balangay boats, braving storms and unknown horizons, bringing with them new skills, stories, and dreams. These Austronesians brought the knowledge of agriculture, the taming of animals, and the building of settled communities. They cleared land for rice paddies, planted root crops, and raised pigs and chickens, transforming the landscape and their way of life. Their migration was not a single wave, but a slow, steady tide, creating a patchwork of societies across the archipelago. Some became expert fishermen, mastering the tides and currents. Others hunted in the forest or cultivated the fertile valleys, each group adapting to the unique challenges of their island home. This diversity of skills, languages, and beliefs became the foundation of what we now call Filipino identity. From the highlands to the coasts, each community contributed to a rich and varied heritage. The islands became a living mosaic, each village a unique piece, shaped by its environment and its people. Together, they formed a vibrant tapestry of life, woven from countless threads of tradition and innovation. Ancient burial jars like the Manungal jar and mysterious petroglyphs carved into cave walls reveal glimpses of their beliefs, rituals, and daily struggles. These artifacts speak of a people who honored their ancestors and sought meaning in the world around them. Each artifact is a message from the past, a fragment of a story that reminds us of a vibrant world that flourished long before the arrival of outsiders. They are the voices of those who came before, echoing through time. The story of the Philippines is deeply rooted in this ancient soil, nourished by the resilience and creativity of its first peoples. Their connection to the land shaped their lives and continues to shape the nation today. It is a testament to their ability to overcome harsh weather, natural disasters, and the challenges of isolation. Through cooperation and ingenuity, they built communities that endured for thousands of years. These early peoples made the islands their home, shaping the land and being shaped by it in return, long before the first foreign sails appeared on the horizon. Their legacy is a rich tapestry of cultures, languages, and traditions, woven together over millennia, surviving in the customs, stories, and spirit of the Filipino people today. This is the dawn of a people, a story of survival, adaptation, and the enduring human spirit. It is the beginning of a journey that continues to this day, rooted in the ancient soil of these islands. Long before the Philippines became a single nation, its story began as a vast archipelago scattered across the sea. Each island, each coastline, was home to its own community, its own way of life, and its own traditions. Instead of one unified country, there existed a patchwork of independent settlements called barangays, each one nestled along rivers, coasts, and fertile valleys. The word barangay itself comes from balangay, the boats that carried families and their leaders to new shores. Each barangay was like a family aboard a boat, journeying together, guided by their datu. The datu was not a distant ruler, but a respected elder, chosen for wisdom, bravery, and the ability to protect and guide his people. He was the heart of the community, settling disputes and leading in times of peace and conflict. Within each barangay, society was organized into clear social classes: the nobles, who advised the datu; the freemen, who farmed, fished, and traded; and the dependents, who worked the land or served the community. These barangays were not isolated. They formed lively networks, trading goods like rice, gold, pottery, and textiles. Through trade, they built friendships and alliances, sharing news, culture, and even celebrations. Sometimes, several barangays would unite under a lakan or raja, forming larger communities for mutual defense or prosperity. These alliances allowed them to face challenges together, from rival groups to natural disasters. The boundaries of each barangay were flexible, shaped by the land, the sea, and the needs of the people. This system of governance was perfectly suited to the diversity of the islands, allowing each community to thrive in its own way. Daily life revolved around both land and sea. Villagers built their homes on stilts to withstand floods and tides, and their days were filled with fishing, farming, and gathering from the forests and reefs. Skilled craftsmen wove colorful textiles, forged tools from metal, shaped pottery for cooking and storage, and crafted intricate jewelry from gold and shells, passing their skills from one generation to the next. Laws and traditions were not written, but spoken and remembered. Elders gathered the community by firelight, reciting rules about marriage, property, and justice, ensuring everyone knew their rights and responsibilities. Life in the barangay was built on cooperation. Villagers worked together to plant rice, build boats, and celebrate festivals, creating a sense of order, community, and justice that bound them together. The barangays were woven together by rivers and seas, their boats carrying people, stories, and goods from one village to another, making the islands a web of connection rather than a chain of isolated settlements. This decentralized system allowed each barangay to govern itself, making decisions that best suited its people, while still being part of a larger, interconnected world. Each barangay was a small, self-sufficient state, able to defend itself, feed its people, and maintain its own traditions and beliefs. Over time, these barangays grew, changed, and sometimes merged, but they remained the foundation of Filipino society, shaping the culture and values that endure to this day. Together, they formed a true mosaic of island societies, each one unique, vibrant, and essential to the story of the Philippines. Long before the arrival of European explorers, the pre-colonial Philippines thrived as a bustling trade hub at the heart of maritime Asia. Its islands, scattered across vital sea lanes, became a natural meeting point for merchants and travelers from distant lands. Its strategic location, nestled between the vast Pacific and the Asian mainland, attracted traders from China, Japan, India, and the Arab world, each bringing their own unique goods, customs, and stories. These traders sought the island's abundant resources, gold gleaming in riverbeds, lustrous pearls from the sea, rare hardwoods from dense forests, and aromatic spices that were prized across continents. In exchange, they brought with them exquisite porcelain, fine silk, and advanced iron tools, introducing luxury items and new technologies to local markets. Filipino merchants were not just passive recipients, they actively negotiated, traded, and adapted, quickly learning to use imported tools and weaving foreign innovations into their daily lives. This vibrant exchange extended beyond goods. Local languages absorbed words from Sanskrit, Arabic, and Chinese, reflecting centuries of contact and cultural blending. Artistic styles flourished as Filipino artisans blended foreign designs with indigenous motifs, creating unique hybrid art that told stories of both local heritage and global connection. The Laguna copperplate inscription, a rare artifact from this era, reveals a sophisticated society with its own system of writing, law, and record-keeping. It tells of a legal system and far-reaching connections to other Southeast Asian kingdoms, showing that the islands were part of a wider regional network. The Philippines was already part of a globalized world, with ancient trade routes weaving through its waters, long before Europeans set foot on its shores. This vibrant trade brought prosperity, enriching pre-colonial Filipino society with wealth, new ideas, and a taste for luxury goods from across Asia. The islands were a dynamic, cosmopolitan crossroads, where cultures met, mingled, and thrived, shaping a uniquely Filipino identity that endures to this day. Before Christianity and Islam, Filipinos had a rich spiritual world. Animism saw spirits in everything, influencing daily life. Babaylan, often women, were spiritual leaders and healers. They communicated with spirits through rituals and offerings. A pantheon of gods and goddesses explained natural phenomena. Epic stories celebrated legendary heroes and preserved history. These beliefs were woven into the fabric of their culture. They expressed values of courage, honor, and loyalty. The spiritual world was the soul of pre-colonial Filipino identity. It was a complex and vibrant belief system, deeply rooted in tradition. In 1521, Magellan's expedition marked a new chapter. Seeking a route to the Spice Islands, they landed in Samar. Magellan befriended local rulers, holding the first Catholic Mass. He claimed the islands for Spain, seeking alliances through conversion. Raja Humabon of Cebu accepted Christianity for strategic advantage. Magellan's goal was to make the islands Spanish subjects. He demanded submission from other chiefs, but Lapu-Lapu resisted. This defiance set the stage for a historic confrontation. Magellan's arrival was a turning point in Philippine history. It introduced new dynamics of power and religion. The stage was set for conflict and change. Lapu-Lapu, the Mactan chieftain, defied Magellan. He valued independence and refused foreign rule. Magellan planned an attack, confident in his weaponry. On April 27, 1521, Magellan's forces landed on Mactan. They faced a well-prepared army led by Lapu-Lapu. The battle was chaotic. Magellan's forces were overwhelmed. Magellan was killed, a stunning victory for Lapu-Lapu. The Battle of Mactan became a symbol of resistance. Lapu-Lapu's defiance inspired future generations. He became the first Filipino hero against colonization. His story echoed through the centuries. It was a powerful statement of independence. Lapu-Lapu's legacy is one of courage and defiance. Magellan's death didn't end Spain's ambitions. In 1565, Legazpi established a permanent settlement in Cebu. Manila became the capital, marking 300 years of Spanish rule. Spanish colonization brought profound changes to Filipino life. The decentralized barangays were replaced by centralized governance. Catholicism became the dominant religion, blending with local beliefs. Society was restructured into a racial hierarchy. Despite hardships, Spanish rule united the islands under one name. It inadvertently planted seeds of national identity. The stage was set for future struggles for independence. Spanish rule was marked by resistance and revolts. Over 100 uprisings erupted, driven by a desire for freedom. Francisco Dagohoy led the longest revolt in Bohol. Diego and Gabriela Silang fought for independence in Ilocos. Religious leaders resisted foreign religion and oppression. These revolts kept the spirit of resistance alive. They were statements of defiance against colonial rule. Leaders became regional heroes, inspiring future generations. The revolts laid the groundwork for a national movement. They were precursors to a unified struggle for independence. The desire for liberty was deeply ingrained in the Filipino spirit. By the late 19th century, the struggle evolved. The Ilustrados, educated Filipinos, demanded reforms. José Rizal's writings inspired national identity and change. Andrés Bonifacio believed in armed struggle for freedom. He founded the Katipunan, aiming for complete independence. In 1896, the revolution began with a powerful cry. The intellectual awakening and armed struggle merged. The fight for a Filipino nation had begun. It was a new era of resistance and hope. The seeds of independence were sown. The birth of a nation was on the horizon. The struggle for freedom was unstoppable.